Hi, my name's Pharaoh, and today I'm going to focus on my Corvette that I got yesterday. So, in yesterday's stream, which I've changed the title of, I built up a Corvette. Right now, I'm just sending out a few frigates. I was having a few difficulties with the game, so I'm trying to catch up with what I was trying to do before I started. So I thought I might as well just show that on the screen, because one of the reasons I'm sending out the frigates is because there are some different parts available. Well, there are parts available from frigates for Corvettes, but what I don't know is if you can get slightly different ones from them or whether the mix is slightly different. So until we've got access to the game files properly, it's going to be tricky to tell. I haven't checked today, actually. Hi, Alphys. Good to see you. I haven't checked today whether or not the game files are available. Actually, let me have a very quick look. I hope I don't cause any problems, because I was having problems with a few processes running in the background, and I wasn't sure if that was partly to do with Firefox playing up. So let's hope that doesn't throw things for a wobbly. Repository. Metadata. Doing stuff off screen, unfortunately. I don't want to just bring this up. Ah, they are there. I'll have a look at those later. So yeah, that will allow me to find out what the percentage chances of getting parts in various ways are. What was this? This was a balanced expedition. Only a one. Let's see what else. So I've just got 3 ones, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Got loads of C class because I went looking for some organics and just grabbed whichever ones I got. And some of them aren't necessarily that good to keep, but let's try and balance it with some of these C classes. That one. Let's say that one. And that one. It should be pretty good for that. Hi, Wolfheart. Good to see you. Yes, it's a very good update. I'm quite enjoying it. I mean, as I've said when it first came out, it wasn't something I would necessarily have wanted, but I know a lot of other people were calling for this kind of update. And I am enjoying it. And it's given me something new to look at. I haven't been playing this game for a while, so it's brought me back. Player numbers yesterday were off the charts. They almost hit next in the end. When I finished yesterday, I thought they were going to go down a bit, but then they popped back up a bit with probably US players. And they were 93.332. Is that right? Let me just have a look at player numbers. It doesn't sound right, but maybe it is. And we want to go to... And this is just on Steam, of course, so who knows how many people are playing. Defos. Chart. Let's see if I can still pull that back on my screen, see if my thing's still set up properly. For that, I need to put that on my other screen. And then I need to... There you go. So player numbers got to 93. It says 24-hour peak 93,332. That's saying 93,224, but maybe it's just not accurately selected. Oh, there we are, 93,332. And next was 97,723. So it almost beat next. Almost was the highest since release. which would have been crazy. And you never know. If the expedition starts as I expect it to start, with a free play weekend again, could see that beaten. Do you know if a patch is coming into? Yes, there is a patch coming soon. I'm playing on experimental now, so I'm playing on the upcoming patch. It's still not perfect. There are still some things wrong, and it's thrown in a few extra bugs that they've kind of had to fix. What bug have you had the most problem with? Because there are a few that you can get around. I miss. Oh yeah, hi Gary. I missed you. Sorry. That's what other people saying hello to you. Just pop up while I'm in just chatting mode. I'll pop up who's here. So we have Alpha's here. We have Wolfart here. We have Gary here. So good to see you all. Right, what was this? Was this the last balance? Oh, this exploration. Don't have much exploration opportunities in these. Guess I'm going to have to go with the best I've got. Not that one. That one. That one. Okay, so they're out. We can get on with doing what we were doing. So yeah, that was one of the things that was happening. That a lot of those things are being fixed slowly but surely. There's still a bit of a problem where you can trade for things, and if you don't have room in your inventory, it can delete them. But the main problem of what was going on is what was going on was that parts that you deleted, especially if you'd flipped them, if they were in the inventory, if you were in the building thing, if you deleted something and then went out, it would often just not put them back in, or it would turn them upside down if they'd been flipped and you wouldn't be able to build with them. It's still turning them upside down so they won't stack, but you can at least build with them. I think they're still working on it a bit. I don't think we'll see the patch drop today, but I reckon they'll try and drop a patch before Wednesday, which is when I think the expedition will come in. But yeah, it was losing parts. For instance, if you deleted 3 parts of something, say you had like 3 particular wings or whatever on there, and you deleted 3 of them and then went into your menu, you'd only have 1 left. So all kinds of crazy stuff, but they are fixing them slowly in experimental. I would say careful what... That's not sharp. Why isn't that sharp? I would say careful what you wish for, wanting that patch to arrive. It's just not going to show up for some reason, because there are a few other bugs in the patch. Right, I'm in an abandoned system, so I need to get out of here. Because, for instance, in this patch, you can't land at abandoned systems at all. They've broken it. They've put landing pads in there, but I can't access it. So yeah, the underground thing has been alleviated. I don't know if it's been fully fixed, but it has been alleviated. So this is what I built yesterday. I built it without any resources to start with. I didn't spend any money apart from... I did end up buying a photon cannon. I might have even bought 2, because my technique was to use 2 Corvettes in series. No, I built on the other one by the look of it. I didn't delete it or keep it. I just changed it. So I built a very basic Corvette, went and searched for parts. Then I used this one. I built this one. And now, the last we saw of it, it is a B-class, been tidying up stuff. I've got all the parts into storage in here, which unfortunately you can't build from, which is a pain in the neck. If you put storage in your ship, you'd have thought you'd be able to build from that storage. So I hope they get that working at some point. And I put a refiner and this completely useless bed that doesn't allow bed logging. They've got to bring bed logging in as far as I'm concerned. If you're going to put a bed in a ship, it needs to do something. I put the radar in and I put the refiner in. I've mainly put this in because I want to keep an eye on what it does and what the different missions are. But at the moment, nothing available, system uninhabited. So, right, I want to go to an inhabited system. And unfortunately, because they've put this in, what they haven't done is given us any assets to actually walk all the way down to the bottom of the space station. Now, before you couldn't. Until the patch comes out, unless you're an experimental, you can't fly into an abandoned station. You could land outside. But now although you can, pirate stations are just completely messed up at the moment in this patch. I'm hoping they'll fix that today. And I'll be keeping an eye out and see if there is a patch. And I have reported it, so at least one person's reported it. Okay, that's the last system I was in. So the other thing they have fixed... wrong screen. Hang on. They have fixed the ability to move technology. So I went into my freighter. The reason I was in my freighter when I started is because I had on this save, which is the Titan save, where I did the Titan expedition and then continued it. I did have storage augmentations. And this whole playthrough has mostly been online, so if anybody's really interested in a kind of rags to riches from a expedition, there's a whole playlist of this. Upgrade. I want to get a bit of space in mine. Do I want a bit any more yet? I'll maybe wait and see. Let's tidy up some of these gaps. I've got 7, so I don't want to spend them all yet. I might want to put some more in here, but get rid of that. Put that in. That'll do me for now. At least I can see where everything is, and I've got some gaps. Got stuck in my ship and had to... Let's put it on the screen. I got stuck in my ship and had to use a chair to get out, so I went on creative to have some fun. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been playing with this this release on creative, and it's certainly showing on like Reddit, where there's like, it feels like there's like 10 builds an hour being posted there, which again demonstrates how many people are playing. Yeah, I kind of miss the old save system too, but I do see why they did it, because I also have a Steam Deck, and the reason that Sean changed the system, decided to change the system, was to be more compatible with mobile play, and I think it makes sense. But I do miss the ability to kind of... I've also noticed that saves don't seem to impact your your starship build. So you might make a save before you make some changes on your starship. And then you'll go back to a previous save and the starship will still be in the position you left it, like, since that save. So it's like it's storing it in a separate spot in the save file. And it's clearly not being updated, not being reverted, as it were. Just going to keep an eye on the guilds whenever I go to a system, because I might get some more updates for my... I don't think I need it for this multi-tool. Maybe I will grab that. Won't use it yet. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start, actually, now that we can move the tech around, I want to try and get this tech a little bit better. Oh, that's not the same. They're wings. The wings go with that? Yes, they do. Okay. Presumed that this was landing gear, so it should go... It doesn't seem to get any... hang on, let's move that there. Yes, it does. I think this might have moved around again, I'm not sure. It has a habit of moving around. That goes to a landing gear too, that's interesting. It's got the automatic recharging. Okay, so we don't need a recharger. What have we got here? I'm wary to spend too many nanites, just because I want to use the nanites to upgrade my ship. I want to grind for some, but I'm having difficulty in getting around at the moment, so I really want to find a hyperdrive module at least. A decent S-class one, maybe. I don't know what I have in my freighter. Let me just call my freighter in and just... Habits die hard. I'm running all the way to it rather than using the teleporters. Yeah, especially for building, the save system can be a bit confusing. Although I don't think it saves while you're in the build menu, but if you pop out of the build menu to do anything, it will start saving when you don't necessarily want it to. It was nice to have the power of 2 saves. I haven't done as much building recently, though. I need to get back to building at some point. The main barrier was that I had like a bespoke set of buttons, and then they just kept changing the button layout on No Man's Sky. And I finally realised I was just going to have to stick with the set buttons. And I've never quite got used to them because I've not done the extended periods of building with the buttons as they're presented officially. Reload while in there, that makes sense. So you're not risking it potentially saving when you come out of the build menu. They seem to have changed those. Strange things that just change. They have been working on refiners, though, because they had to put refiners into the Starship. So I wonder if they, while they were working on them, they decided to change the models a bit. What was I doing? Why was I in here? I was probably thinking about my inventory. And have I got any hyperdrive modules? No, I haven't. I haven't got many modules at all, really. What's that? Supreme upgrade for hyperdrive. I do have one. I'll do for now. Back to the station. Yeah, I need to do a proper thorough test of how the current refiners are working. See if they've changed the system, because everybody's noticed that if you dump things into here, for instance, it doesn't automatically start. And sometimes if you pull something else in, then it goes to 0 and you have to pick it up and put it back in again to get the numbers right. Or just go all the way to the end, which obviously would be madness. Do it the other way around. So they've been tinkering with the code, so I wonder if they've improved it. Might look under the hood as well. Now we've got the ability to look at the save file manager. Do I want to search for anything? Probably not. I probably just want to go from station to station and pick up one more S-Class module, at least. Must be able to find one relatively quickly. It doesn't really matter where they are. So let's start from there. The ones to the right of the... There's no real logic to where you find modules. I know a lot of people claim there are, but I've not ever seen one. People will say, oh, you go to an Explorer-focused system to find certain things, or go to a Viking system to find certain things, and it just doesn't seem to hold true. It's an A. I suppose I could make do with that for now while I'm... It just seems a bit pointless. It's not like I'm totally lacking in nanites. Should probably switch out of the screen now and playing properly. That'll do us. Hyperdrive. That's what we want. I might buy that too, because I probably will put a phase beam on at some point. You got anything interesting? Not really. Should have checked the other one as well. Right, let's probably be able to put these on from here. I don't want that in there yet, but I do want that one. So let's put that a bit more. Which one's better? 289. 231, 223. I believe that's better there. Yeah. That didn't change. They have the same colour. I don't think they have anything to do with each other. Probably need to... Interesting. There's a limited... I think they might have culled what we can put in here. No other blueprint for the pulse drive now, so it's relying on these ones. That was there before, I thought. Is there a secondary? There's only the colour drive. For some reason, only that one. I've got... I think there might be some bugs here, because there's no reason why, for instance, you shouldn't have the emerald drive, unless I never got it on this save. I think that might be it. I think I am lacking some stuff, because I never needed it, because I had a living ship. I had this problem yesterday. I just never needed this stuff. Let's go to the anomaly and see what I don't have. Because this was... The Titan save gave us the Wraith. And then the whole point of this save was to maximize the Wraith. Now I'm maximizing a different ship. I'm going to need all the modules. Seems a lot slower, but I do wonder if it's timed to be about the same, because they're closer. There's a weird thing in the anomaly. It makes your cloak go like that. And I have no idea why. It's like there's a strong wind coming from wherever you're facing. I think it's a bug. Got a bit of a glitch then. It's weird, isn't it? Anyway. Now it's okay. Is it just down there? Or did it get fixed because I pulsed? It got fixed because they pulsed. Or a rocket had jumped it. So I bought a couple of things yesterday. Don't need these necessarily, but I just noticed they weren't there. But I do want these. And I don't have that yet. So this is going to burn away my nanites. Oh, and let me go back in if I quick. We probably want the phase beam. Ah, didn't let me go back in that time. In which case I want that. And probably don't need that so much at the moment. Probably need that. It's very inconsistent with its kicking me out at the moment. And might need an emergency walk because I'm probably not very well equipped to fight at the moment. Because I'm on the experimental branch, there's very few people actually online. So no cool Corvettes to look at. Yeah. Possibly don't need much more. Go back to the current system. Right, so instability drive. Yeah. Probably need to go back to my freighter, and I probably don't have any hyperclusters in there. I don't know. I guess what I could do temporarily is change my containers to ones I know I've got stuff in, because these have just got parts in. That's not it. They're there. So if I delete that, delete that, and then put in 0 and 1. We've got some chromatic metal, for instance, to see what I need. Yeah. I don't think I have any of those. Nope. Nope. I might have to go out and fly and get some. Might be quickest and easiest way to do that. First Corvette and normal is not bad, but I didn't have access to all parts yesterday on creative. I built my dream ship. Oh my god, it looks so sci-fi. I cannot believe this. Yes, you can really go to town, and there's been an awful lot of very nice builds. I didn't have access to all the parts either, so this is the best I could do, really. Whoops. But it was free. I just ground for stuff as quickly as possible. And it's going to do me, but I think I'm going to need slightly longer. I think I might need a bit more space in it. But apart from that, I'm enjoying it. But the first thing I want to do is make it actually a capable ship. I want to put those wings out a bit further. They feel a little bit tagged on the side at the moment. I think they need, ideally, I think they need to kind of come up and have them a bit higher. And I think it needs a bit more depth because it's looking very squat at the moment. seen some ideas. Somebody put a really, really nice X-Wing build on Reddit today, and it showed me how to go up and down, so I can go up and put the wings on the end, hopefully. One of my favourite builds I've seen so far is Thunderbird 5, which is partly why I chose the colours of this ship, just because I thought the colours of Thunderbird 5 just look so cool. That kind of racing green look. How many do I need? 3. Got some moustache. I've only got 1. Okay. 2. On this save, this feels really alien, just going to get normal technology, because I spent the whole save just upgrading a Wraith and using all of that technology. Let's chuck. Let's park. Because that just means I don't move around too much. Right, so I want to fix this up. And what else did we want to put on there? We wanted to put the rockets.
Technology installed. Technology installed.
Need some copper. I'm sure I will have that in my thing. And I need some unstable plasma. I'm surprised I don't have any unstable plasma. I do have some. I've already forgotten what I'm looking for now. What was it? Copper, of course it was. Yeah, I haven't seen the Spaceballs one. I've had other people mention it, but then Spaceballs isn't a reference for me. I just never saw the film. I think I was in a phase where I was getting a bit bored of Mel Brooks films and just never watched it. I'm sure I would probably enjoy it. I mean, Young Frankenstein is one of my favourite films. We can just buy unstable plasma, can't we? Yeah, I'm certain it's probably very silly. I think that might have been why I didn't really want to watch. I was probably in my late teens, early 20s, and was not into dumb stuff anymore. Kind of moved on from that, and now I kind of can tolerate it again. I'm sure it hasn't aged well either, but I can cope with that because I remember what it was like back then. Get a bit more. Right, so What else did we get? We got this phase beams, didn't we? Yes. Not going to have a lot of space in here. That's slightly better. And then we can put that down here somewhere. Could be there. Let's put a phase beam here.
Technology installed. Technology installed.
Have a single module. I think it's probably better there. 166. Oh, it's the same. Okay, fair enough. Well, that can be in a line for now. This is better between them. No, makes no difference at all. It's not going to do anything with that. What are we missing?
Technology recharged.
Don't need that. Don't really need the aquajets because you can just hover above the water. I probably do need the scanners. I thought I was starting to put the scanners in, but maybe I didn't put the...
Technology installed.
I think I have a walker brain in my ship. We do. So it's just that deflector.
Technology installed.
Counterfeit circuits and solar mirror. I'm pretty sure I've got some solar mirrors. So it looks like I'm going to have to go to pirate systems, and I can only get to the pirate systems. At the moment, I can't fly into them, so that's going to have to be in my normal ship. And counterfeit circuits. Just get that embedded in my head so I don't forget. Right. Yeah, I don't... Some builds do suggest you can do kind of different angles and stuff, so I think it could be done. I was watching someone on when I was just like leaving my leaving my PC on just in case I wanted the Twitch drops, which I only wanted a couple of them, but someone was just making mech after mech. Some of them did look quite interesting. Right, what are they doing? Pirate system. There'll be high conflict. Yep, straight away. Be interesting to see what the mission board shows in a pirate system. Now this is the problem. I've reported this as well. The visor stays up when you warp with your living ship, which is a pain in the neck, but even worse if you warp into a combat. I don't know if the same happens with Sentinels. Hi, Grabnort. Still haven't fixed this. See it? Did that just fix itself turning round? Maybe not. Maybe it was just because it's brighter down there. In here, it suddenly sounds very loud. Can I just do a quick check that people can hear me okay? And if I just need to adjust some of my volumes. Well, that's lucky. Got some straight away. How many did I need? I can't tell on here. I think it was just 2, but I'll grab all of them.
Product received.
Might as well get that while I'm here. Might as well get that while I'm here. I do need some nanites, so I'll grab that. I guess I could do the suspicious packet route. I don't like overdoing it because it's a little bit exploity, but maybe I'll do some.
Product received.
I'll just do those. I already had a few by the look of it. I don't find that quite as exploitative, just kind of buying and burning larval cores, because you're just turning cash into nanites. But these always seem like you're turning cash into nanites at a much too good exchange rate. So, where did I just park? Where's my freighter? It's just not showing. Why is my freighter not showing? Odd. Freighter usually shows up, doesn't it? I'm not going mad, am I? Could be another bug that's worth reporting. I can't see it anywhere. I can see all the frigates. I can't be far away from the freighter. Oh, well, I'll call it in. I don't want to call it into here. It's a. Let's go to there. Give me a sanity check. I can usually see my freighter in the. I was doing it again. Look. Cheerio, Wolfheart. Thanks for popping in. It's frustrating because this is the only other decent ship I've got on this save because it was a specialist save. Didn't even realise how far I was away. I wasn't looking at the time, so I could have got here a lot quicker. Let's see if it clears as I turn around. No, it doesn't. It does clear when I jump back in. So it's warping, and I think also teleporting. I'm going to test that now. Because the freighter should also show on there. If I'm getting the strangest coordinates, why have I got access to purple systems on this save? Did they change their mind about the Titan expedition saves? Oh, it's because I carried on playing. I didn't go back into... Yes, of course. Right, we're just going to test. Any station will do. So technically, this is a save where I just don't really need to do the storyline at all. Unless I want staffs, and I've got a staff. I want to see if that's still... It will not be able to tell because jumping in, it clears it. So, yeah, that didn't make any difference. So it's just warping in, it seems. Just double checking all the guilds for anything that I might want. Is this where I already had my freighter? No, let's go and get it anyway. I bet it will show up while I'm in the same system as him. Yeah, it's showing up there. So if I go to there, we're in Nikura. Now it's showing. I didn't jump that far last time. Maybe I'm going mad. Maybe it was off screen, I guess. This is a real handicap.
recharged.
It's probably because I coughed and I didn't turn my microphone back on. Sorry about that. I was just thinking out loud for the last few minutes. So yeah, I was just moaning about how whenever you edit your frigate, it rearranges your inventory, because what it's doing is it's judging what you've put on it, and then it's placing these things into your inventory. Now, I can understand that it would place these things in the inventory anywhere that it's got a space, but surely it could have a bit of memory and actually say, well, this is where they were before, nothing much has changed. And because I tried changing something and then deleted it, it didn't recognize that overall the ship hadn't changed. So it could have just gone back to the previous, but it didn't. So it's very frustrating. It discourages you from tinkering with your ship, because you're continually having to change all of these modules. for the time being, we'll just put up with it. Because obviously at some stage it'll be all finalised and I will not be messing around with the ship anymore. But that isn't now. Might get another one of those because they're always useful if we do get into combat. And I possibly need the... Is it the Diffurier or whatever it's called? Didn't want to buy everything in the anomaly, but I'm feeling like it might have been a better call because I'm going backwards and forwards. But the next step is definitely try and farm some nanites again. Which reminds me, I did find a load of these, so in my inventory and stuff that I hadn't popped from my fight the other day. So my fight was a little bit more rewarding than I realised. Should have sold that. Or at least put it somewhere safe. I swear that guy was in the anomaly earlier. That's the one I wanted, the non-linear optics. Couldn't remember what it was called. Okay, so we're full now, so there's no point doing any more unless we put some of these in. But really, I want to try and increase the class. There's a few more people popping in the experimental branch. We've actually got that's slowly loading in. Let's go over there and have a look. See if it loads in quick. Oh, have I gone to the wrong one? Yes, I have. Those habs must be connected, surely. It's just not loading in quick enough yet. Yeah, I didn't really want to start messing around with anything anyway. That's why I was filling it up to that B-class limit. Still looks like there's something not loaded in. This is just chaotic, unless there's some design to it that's missing. Unless there's 2 ships still. Yeah, maybe there's 2 ships, because this looks more like a coherent build, and that looks like some kind of nascent mech build of some kind. This looks like a cockpit here. Is that a cockpit? I think it is. I'm not sure. And that's a cockpit. And then there's a cockpit probably tucked in here somewhere. So maybe there's 3 ships here. Yeah, they still need to fix that. Multiple people loading in on the same one, because you're just not going to be able to jump into your ship. It's the same thing happened on mine by the look of it. Yeah, we've got another ship there. So which one am I going into? It looks like mine. But then it's got... somebody else's ladder in it. Right, I need to do a quick check once that my I haven't got a stowaway inadvertently. Now I'm out of there. Options, network, nearby player list. No, I haven't. I haven't kidnapped somebody at least. Right, so let's sell these here. Keep turning around like that. Habit is taking a while to stop me doing it, and I bet they'll change it at some point. Other people will complain, and then I'll have to get used to it all over again. Selling modules. Any module seller will do. You'll do. So I'm still a good way off upgrading to A class, which was 25, if I remember. Because I thought it was 20 and it was more than I thought. 25,000, yeah. Right, I'm tempted, because it also gets me a couple of parts, and it's a not bad way of getting nanites. I'm tempted to run a derelict. Have I got any already in my freighter? Got 10 of those, but it's always nice to have a few spare of those. I've got some of these I could pop. As I said before, it feels a little bit exploitative. I could sell some of these, I guess. I'm not going to get a lot for them. No. And I don't have any... No, I have to buy one. It's an expensive way to get nanites, but I might get a few parts. I'll actually exploit the derelict for as much as I can get. Try and make my money back. Jot down how much money I've got. Also, it'll be a good test to see if they've messed up in the patch, the derelicts. They've messed up a couple of other things. Doesn't look like they've changed them. I imagine they won't change these. Because you'd need to put 4 on, wouldn't you? Probably. Let's fly out. That's one of the things they have fixed. That was broken before on the derelicts. Right, don't be a bug one. Don't have the patience. I'm also still wondering if you get different drops for different things for your parts, which I might be able to clarify later on today after I finish the stream, because we now appear to have the repository is up to date with all of the different drop tables.
Temperature levels stabilizing.
So there's been a lot of debate about what kind of roles could work, because Sean mentioned multi-crew frigates, not frigates, corvettes, having roles, and the most obvious one is obviously gunner. What other roles would work do we reckon? I mean, there's not many people here, but if anybody watches this later, put some comments in the
Thermal protection falling.
put some comments down below, because it will be interesting to hear. I've speculated on previous streams that I think some form of extra scanning abilities for the hyperdrive might be nice, so you can kind of pick up different types of systems. Because we have such full exosuits now, then you could introduce modules that are very specialist, but don't give us extra space in our exosuit. So you're kind of forced to specialize a bit. Obviously, you can change them around. It could be a bit like a skill system. If you had extra things for roles, we can only choose one role maybe. But what else could you have? No, he wasn't specifically referring to Light No Fire. It was when he said the word roles first, he was referring to No Man's Sky. Later, or at a separate point in the video, he was talking about multi-crew ships in Light No Fire. But the way he discussed roles in the video first time round very much sounded like he was talking about No Man's Sky. Now, I'm quite prepared that it might not be something that comes for months. It might not be something that they've got ready to go yet. But he kind of implied No Man's Sky as well. I wonder if because some of the roles are just not appropriate. So the roles that they've worked out for Light No Fire aren't quite appropriate for No Man's Sky. So they're going to have to put a bit of extra thought into them. Especially if Light No Fire doesn't work in a similar way. Like, Light No Fire might have skill systems. It's very typical of fantasy to have skill systems. It might have a completely different inventory system. A sane one. That would be nice. I think I need the neutron cannon in here if I'm going to be fighting sentinels. Especially if they're in the ceiling. Did I do these? Yes, I did. Yep, okay. He was saying that it was really nice to have people in ships in different roles. Maybe we'll look back on it at some point before I go off stream. We do need to fix these. They shouldn't be in the ceiling. Still learning the building parts. It goes to show how few I've done of these on this save. With that one. I mean, he definitely did also talk about Light No Fire in that context, so I'm not saying it's wrong. And it could be that he was just, the way he said it was misleading. But I think No Man's Sky needs it if you're going to have... I think No Man's Sky needs a multiplayer overhaul at some point. I think it needs more team play. I mean, you can play through the game as a team. I was watching a very entertaining video yesterday. What was it called? Quickly checks my YouTube history.
Thermal protection falling.
Chrometer. I spent 100 days in No Man's Sky Hardcore. Sorry, getting an advert that we don't really want. I spent 100 days in No Man's Sky Hardcore, and he basically did it with 4 people, and they did it all parallel to each other, but they did it relatively well. They did seem to work out how to get around some of the problems, and I think that people are better at problem solving those kinds of things than we give them credit for, because we think, oh, it just doesn't work, because we've seen so many problems ourselves. I think people find a way. I've certainly watched a few streams of people, but they went through the entire story as a team, starting off as a 4-man team, seeing if they would all survive or not, in permadeath. And they definitely had fun. I think sometimes they had fun despite the game, because they were doing things that you really didn't need to do, that made it much more dangerous. But I remember when I first approached this game, I didn't know what was dangerous and what wasn't either, so...
Temperature levels stabilizing.
It was really, really evident from their run. If you have 4 people warping around together, you're going to get so many pirates, because at least one of you is going to get a pirate encounter at some point. Doesn't matter what I choose. This usually gives you around about 1,000 and a bit. Nanites, I think. When they're not the bug ones, I find them quite chill to do. Which is kind of ironic, because they're supposed to be the horror element of the game.
Life support power low. Technology recharged.
Anything in here? I'm not used to these octagonal rooms. Ah. Been there.
Thermal protection falling.
Anyway, so yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for No Man's Sky to tidy up through play. 4-man crews actually playing the game together. But it would need a lot of work. It's not something they could just do at the drop of a hat. And in that process, it could be fun to give us different roles. If you're all following the story at the same time, you don't need to all do the same things. And we don't really have a lot of specialization at the moment. I don't necessarily think we need skills. You can have a skill-like system based on choosing a role and then getting the modules for that role. Confusing room. Not an awful lot of loot here, considering how big the rooms are. That's a chair. Can't be bothered to do the recycling for nanites. It's just mind-numbingly boring. Nearly missed that one. I'm not underestimating how much work it would be. It's not something I'm saying they should do immediately, and why haven't they done it? But my bet is they are working on that kind of thing. They are working on better multiplayer for this game. Because I just feel like at some point, this game is going to be the game that people play that like Light No Fire. It's going to be completely backwards if Light No Fire is a hit. And people will come away from Light No Fire, which I hope will be slightly better supporting those kinds of things. And they're going to expect them in this game. But I definitely feel like the Corvette leaves it open. It suggests they're thinking about these things. They've taken something that's clearly a multiplayer element from one game and they've put it into another game. And yes, I mean, it is because it's something that we were all thinking they could put in the game. Not necessarily expecting, not necessarily even wanting, but some people were. A lot of people were. And it feels like the platform for a multiplayer experience. But the multiplayer experience isn't quite there yet for that platform. But I get boring things. Hull link, a couple of them. They're actually the big ones, so that's not bad. 3 of them. And that's it, I think. It's not a bad thing, but not a great haul. I've been thinking that for a long while, Gravnot, that they might be eventually heading towards some kind of clan system or faction system, even if it's only 2 factions, even if it's only Void Mother and Atlas, or maybe Void Mother, Atlas and Neutral, or maybe Void Mother, Atlas, Neutral. I don't think we can get back there without the thing. Void Mother, Neutral, Atlas and Anomaly. I feel like it's because they didn't bring it in early in the game. They haven't had factions before. You would need a neutral. You'd need, like, I'm not bothered about this. I don't really want to be part of the competition. Why have you changed the game on me kind of argument. We need, I mean, I would think in Light No Fire there will be shared settlement type building. That's my hunch. As I've said before, you could have kind of very light elements of real-time strategy, but make it more of a cooperative, we're building this community kind of experience. So you're setting your community to do certain building tasks and roles, etc. And I think that will be, I don't think we will see building like we do in No Man's Sky, where we have just like our own private buildings. I think we'll just have more cooperative stuff. Add a hunch. I do think No Man's Sky needs more of that. It needs, like, it's very frustrating for people that are trying to play together online. And they technically have to build 2 identical bases, because even if they share a base, one person goes offline and they can't do anything. Chuck that in there. I should have more. I didn't get very much, did I? Is that all I got? Well, that wasn't worth it. Oh, I haven't offloaded the captain's log yet, that's why. I must have got distracted. It's not showing... Yes, it is. It's showing the icons. Yeah, because I mean, one of the things that often confuses people that want to play together is that they put things in a container and they expect, oh, well, I've got stuff in my container over here, you've got stuff in your container over there. When you're offline, I can go to your container and get something. And then, of course, they meet up with the issue that containers are specific to a player and they just see in their own stuff. And we're used to, I didn't want to buy another one. I was distracted that I thought I hadn't sold both. We're used to that, but a new player often hits that and thinks, what's going on here? And that doesn't feel like that would work in Light No Fire, I don't think. That could be anywhere in the inventory. There it is. So it looked like that might be running low.
Technology recharged.
So what else have I got here? Not much I can get nanites from. Yes, I think we're probably of like minds of how Light No Fire might work and how they could change certain things in No Man's Sky.
Units received.
Whether they will or not is another matter.
Received. Units received.
Back in here. I'll chuck that in my container while I remember. I'm hoping also that they might have slightly larger teams in Light No Fire. That they might improve the infrastructure a bit. Maybe use some of the more advanced features of, because I think they currently use Microsoft Azure, which could theoretically do a few more clever things than they're doing. But I don't think it's worth trying to do in No Man's Sky, but I think it could be worth it. So things like better instancing and well, I mean, data storage in general can theoretically be handled on the client side. I don't think they'll go away from that. I think they'll stick to most stuff apart from things like bases and stuff. I think they'll probably stick to the client side having most of it. So when you're in a group, you're all knowing what's in each of your containers. And I think they won't be limited to the platform because they'll be able to start on which kind of platforms they want to sell the game for. So they won't be limited for things like smaller, less powerful consoles. What's my next strategy here? I was going to check to see how much money I had after I sold stuff, so I want to sell everything really. Might as well put that in the freighter for now. I think I've got a bit of that. Oh no, I got it in my... I haven't sold these. They're not going to get a lot. Better all counts.
Technology recharged.
So 14,000 nanites now. Well, I must have made a mistake jotting down the numbers because it shows I've lost money. You know, that's even before. Oh, because I just spent 10 million, didn't I? That's why. Yeah, so okay, carry on. 857, 851, 697. 1813 851 1813 851 697. Add 10 million to that. Could be 2 free. Yeah, so I didn't make my money anywhere near my money back. There wasn't very much loot in that derelict. I didn't really change my amount of money but that much at all. I know I haven't sold much yet, but I didn't really get much to sell. Yeah, I did consider scrapping Sentinels, but that's even more time consuming. I wasn't paying attention to where I was going then. Let's just sell a few things off that I don't really want. I haven't got full let's just give the Gek relics away. There must be a Gek here. Give away all of these, because I haven't got the standing. Don't know how many I've got. Wish there was a way of handing these in, just saying offer all your Gek relics. Yeah, I think they were in my starship. I can go in my freighter. Yeah, I've got far too many to hand in. I'll hand in that one to get rid of that inventory slot, then I'll sell the rest. No, I know. I understood what you meant. I just I don't do that very often anyway. But I was thinking, because I feel like that is a little bit of a turn cash into nanites thing, and at least hunting for crashed interceptors is a little bit less. You don't get many modules in those sometimes. How many of those have I got? 9. Get rid of the Corvax casing. I've only got one of those. Is there a Corvax around? Can't see one. Usually at least one of each species, surely. Maybe not. Maybe it's more random. Nope. Alright, I'll just sell them. Right. Nanites are always a grind until they're not. when you don't need them anymore, you just accumulate them. I'm pretty sure they haven't fixed the whispering eggs. I guess we could look at missions, see if there's any that actually give out decent amounts. They don't usually. It's usually a couple of hundred, isn't it? But I was going to look at these missions anyway. Units, Quicksilver. Go back in the space station, have a look at the missions. They kind of implied that you would get standing from these. Do you get standing? You don't seem to. You just seem to get a form of currency. I think they might have changed their mind at some point as to how these would work. See, I would do that one if the eggs, sorry, that one, was it just changed? I would do that one if the eggs were working. Yeah, it has just changed because I've got nanites and nanites now. And they're not, it's not a bad nanite haul. Maybe it's changed because I landed. It's 351 nanites. I'm tempted to do some of the ones in the ship just to see if they're slightly different. I know we did a eliminate flora one, which was very much the same. It's interesting that it says it doesn't specify the resource until you go into it now, which is a much more sensible idea. So that's just straightforward ammonia. It's local to the area and scan planet, so it doesn't specify which planet you go to. Oh, look, Gravnaut discovered this one. Initially, the very first time I pulsed, it seemed like it was much, much faster. I don't know if they've tamed that down a bit, or if it's just that this particular Corvette's not got the same abilities. I think it's because we're in one of the purple systems that I went to. Yeah, they're all discovered except for the system. Unless you did it during... This is an expedition save, so this is a common area. It's not like random area. Everybody passed through these at this area. I suppose I could look for resources in the same way that I would look for... Because I was thinking just look around, but I don't have to. I can set it as an autopilot. Ammonia. Let's get to that one first. Never have to land again. Again, going round and round in circles. I got no terrain with this. Okay. Always confuses me when it says equip it, because for me equip means set up the... It's a very small ammonia deposit. This is going to take a long while at this rate. I'm hoping I find a bigger one than this. Maybe it goes deep. It goes down into a cave, perhaps.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge. Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Might as well get some practice in, because no doubt we'll have to do a lot of mining for the expedition. As always. There's a little tiny bit left there. And there was another one nearby. Where's my ship? So it's pointing that way. So it was over here. Heading is westish. You don't want to keep coming back. It again, turned around. Another small deposit. What's the game done? Scan for the smallest deposit items.
Nearby toxins detected.
Yeah, this is definitely of a scale where you would want a team doing it. Frame rate's dropping a bit. Luckily, it's quite high. I don't know if that's just because there's a bit of a leak in the code, or if it's something to do with these deposits. It's like, starts off as a good deposit, then it becomes a dirty deposit down there.
Technology recharged.
So 3 might do it if it's a little bit bigger. 600 odd. That's the one we've just been to. We don't want to go. We want to go westish. And there are none in that direction. Oh, there's one there. Maneuverability feels alright now. Wasn't feeling that well landed. Wasn't feeling that bad before, but it feels a bit better. I'm interested in what the S-Class stat levels are. I have got one S-Class, and now I've got the save editor working again. So they've obviously decrypted it. And theoretically we can check the code and see what the ranges are. I'm sure someone would have done that by now. Maybe we'll check the wiki. See if anybody's updated the stats for the Corvettes. So not quite enough. We need a little bit more. So you certainly wouldn't get a gather ammonia mission at the anomaly, would you? It would usually be some kind of precious thing. presume it'll be the same and it'll make us hand it in somewhere.
Technology recharged.
Claim rewards from the Corvette mission relay. It doesn't suggest we have to hand it in. If you don't have to hand it in, that's actually a little bit better. Because at least we're gathering resources at the same time. So if we see something and we think, oh, we're going to gather some of those resources anyway, it would have to be relatively early in the game. You'd really want this to be an early game thing. Oh, where am I going? I want the one down the bottom there. Where is it? No, it is that one. So we didn't have to give the ammonia away. On the Corvette page, there was no reference to stats. Okay. Well, I can look at some stats. Let's have a look at what these stats are for this particular ship. This is after Titan save. Ships. This is only at B class though, so it's not really going to be very representative. But they do stagger up in proportion. So if it works the same as other ships and everything else, to be honest. So damage is 6.46. Shields is 54.75. Hyperdrive is 9.92. And maneuverability is 0.81. It's not really giving us a lot of context at this stage. I'd really like to see an S-class. And I can't be able to put that into a spreadsheet to work out how that would translate. I have got an S-class in another save. I'll maybe look at that in a bit. So I've got nearly 15,000 nanites. I need 10,000 nanites. It's a lot of nanites to grind, no matter what method you choose. I guess more efficiently doing a so I wasn't being very efficient before, but more efficiently using sentinels might work.
Alert. Navigational data received.
I can't remember how much you get for Kronos's things for cooking, but I don't think this save is very well geared up for cooking. I could maybe have a look, see what he's offering. I want this in the air, really. So I can use it to de-escalate. First off, get these. Oh, not paying attention to my weapon. Maybe just quickly double check the weapon. Come on, let me off. Don't let me die just waiting to log out. He's miles away. What is going on with him? They are definitely acting a bit weird. I think their pathfinding is a bit messed up. Are they actually going to come over here? Goodness only knows. Why would they even spawn over there in the first place?
Warning. Sentinel combat unit deployed.
This is really inefficient if they're just going to keep spawning all over the place. Maybe I'm just going to have to stay here. Maybe there's some kind of... But there's some over there. Call in your mates. And maybe bring another... reinforcements, excellent.
Warning. Elite Sentinel force.
Hasn't called in another summoner though. don't know why these actually come and investigate you. You'd have thought they would hang back. Heal him up first, that's it. Okay, I need 2 summoners. It's not escalating the wave.
Technology recharged.
I wonder if they've changed the waves. I'm sure. Ah, so they've dropped this. I wonder if they've added anything. I'll check to see if it's the same update when I finish fighting. Because you can tell, the only way you can tell these days is switch between the builds and see if anything changes. See if it loads anything. And if it doesn't, you know it's the same build. Which means they may have dropped this build and people are instantly going to start complaining about not being able to get into pirate systems. But we'll see. Come over here. They don't want to move. They're being very static. Kind of a no-lose situation here. Oh, I've left a barrel. Come on, I don't want you to spawn anything into a rock. Oh, well, that really took out the summoner. That's it. Summon a few things to heal you, and then I'll wait. The Volcast is rubbish. Target should I go for? Let's get 30. What an annoying place for them to spawn. Six. Out from there. Maybe I'm going to have to get rid of this. Is that even going to... Is that just terrain? Oh, I have got 30 now. Had more than I thought. I wonder why that wasn't going up. Alright, we might as well finish off 4 more. Two more. It's far enough away now. Oops, I've gone past it. Where is it? There it is. One more. It's not dropping consistently either. Haven't missed a barrel, no. I think they've made these a bit meaner. That's 40. Let's get out of here. Hey, Ignition. Sorry, I was a little bit focused on my shooting. Yep, definitely serious. I've got my glasses back on. Yesterday I was okay without my glasses, but some of the smaller text was doing me in because they're mainly reading glasses. Tree would have an irresistible smelling fruit. Clearly it desires we consume it. Your bare random plant would be madness. We must test. I don't think you should, no. I don't think that's a good idea at all. What is that? I think this is just some random bug. It's not giving me a distance. There's nothing over there. Yes, it's just updated. I think it's the same as this experimental patch because they didn't add any other notes. I'm going to find out in a minute whether it's exactly the same as the patch I'm running. As soon as I've landed at the space station and made a save. Because I can switch out of experimental, and if it loads something else, then they've added slightly more to the build. If it doesn't, it's the build we were playing yesterday after I reloaded once. So if it doesn't, there's going to be a lot of people saying, why can't we go into pirate systems in our Corvettes. I can't say I didn't warn them. I did tell them. But it's all a matter of... There are a lot of bugs that people are complaining about that aren't related to that, so... So that's come back. Let's see if we get any parts. Antimatter. Nitrogens. No, we didn't. Right, so let's make a save. Yeah, I'm intrigued by this expedition. I always like the expeditions. They're my favourite part of the game, I think. I guess once you've kind of taken the game as far as it will go, the expeditions are the only real variable. Right, I'm just going to switch out of experimental. Oh, it did do a quick update. It might have changed it slightly. It did a quick update before I even did anything. It was only tiny though, so about they haven't changed much. Change out from... Actually, I can double check it actually loaded something. No, it doesn't look like it. Properties, updates. No, that was 6:34 yesterday, so that wasn't actually an update. It must have just been accessing the server. So if we turn off beta, I know you can't see this, but I'm just turning off the beta build. No, nothing downloaded. It's the same. It's exactly the same build. So you won't be able to get into the pirate systems in your Corvettes. I mean, I double test it in a minute. You can't warp to a pirate system. You just can't fly out of the pirate system. Right. Guess we should just try warping. Don't think it'll let me unless I go to a base. Nope. So what they did is they tried to sort out stations. So abandoned stations and pirate stations, they both park the Corvette in the runway now like it does in a normal system. Although it's a long way away, so I'm going to switch. I'm also going to make a save here because I know it's going to be quite deadly. and I might not get away with it. Right, so if I now caught, because there's no way of getting there. There's no way of getting there using a teleporter anymore, because they haven't installed one. And if Hello Games are watching, we could just put it here. That would be fun. Anyway, let's wander down. There's a very clearly demarked position here between the different types. And yesterday when I tried to take off, and I'll be able to immediately tell, because it won't do the proper takeoff, it will just start flying as if it's free flight. Ah, it took off. So they may have fixed it. I don't know how they fixed it, because they didn't seem to change the build. We'll double check that it wasn't the abandoned systems. Well, that's strange. It wasn't the abandoned systems, was it? Gravnaut. So what it might be... No, there's... I don't know if they can do tiny updates. They can't do server-side updates as far as I'm aware. Only to server things. Maybe some models? I don't know. I'm confused how they would manage to fix it without changing the build. Your bases. I'm pretty sure it's Pirate Systems as well. And you saw me doing it yesterday. It's on record. I recorded it. I went out and went into the next build and I still couldn't. I do feel like this is cheating. Being able to just... I've said this many times, I know, but it just feels wrong that we can just bypass the entire system by going to a base. It should be limited to pirate system bases. Right, so I want to go to an abandoned system. I wish they wouldn't land the Corvette. I wish they'd just put it up in the sky and put a teleporter to it. Oh, I just sat down. Oh, a nice free emergency signal scanner.
Inventory full.
It's not?
Inventory full.
It's definitely not full. None of my inventories are full. Confusing. Right down the end again. Is it faster to fly? I think it feels slightly faster. I always used to say it wasn't faster, but I've changed my mind. that's not free flight either. So they're both fixed. They're both working. Don't know what it was yesterday, because I don't think we changed the build at all. Intermittent bugs are a pain, though. They might not ever find it, because they'll need to know exactly what it is that it's trying to pick up. I guess they could ask for a save file if someone reports it on PC. Can't remember. Are you on PC, Gravnort? Or are you on PlayStation? Wish we could just get down that a little bit further. Just a little bit closer. Right. So let's, while we're here, I could manipulate these, but I won't. So I've got 12. Actually, they can take anybody's save file now, can't they? Because they can just ask you to do the cross save, which is really helping them, I think. The cross save is really considering they can say, oh, you're on PlayStation, you're on thing, but if you could put your save onto the cross save, we can access it and give us your username. I think that's probably helping them squash bugs a lot quicker. It really wants me to do the Artemis quest, and I don't want to. I think Switch 2 is probably a good version of the game, to be honest. I've not seen anywhere near as many complaints about. I mean, I know it was broken for a bit, but not seen anywhere near as many complaints about the Switch 2 as I did with the Switch 1. I'm going to sell my modules. So 25,000 nanites. It worked. So we're at A class. The next one's 60,000, is it? Might have to grind them out off stream, because it would be a bit boring to just... I was 60,000 the total. 50,000. Yeah, that's a long way off, because now I only have 433 nanites. But at least we're at A class. Let's see if my... I don't remember what my stats were, because I don't memorize them, but I've got them written on... I read them out on the stream, so I'll be able to check back. See if the stats actually even change on these. Yes, they have changed. 12.84 for damage. Shield 74.76. Hyperdrive 26.85. And maneuverability 5.81. What I'm really interested in is whether the base stats change based on the build. But the only way to find that out is to check the stats on the in the files, which I'll have to do off stream because that would be a long and boring search because I can't remember which file it's in. Unless anybody happens to know which file the ship stats are in. Save here. I did know them. Let me just quickly check my notes. So I might have a list of them. Mods. Where am I modding section? On my NAS box somewhere. Spaceship Globals, by the look of it. Okay. Right, let's put... Don't know how much of this will be visible. I might have to change... No, that's never going to work. No, this isn't feasible because of the way I've my browser set up here. It will just take me ages to get it lined up, and then I've got to search for the file. I'll do that off stream. So I managed to get to A class. I've tidied up my inventory. So until I actually get in and change the model, it will stay like this. But unfortunately, as soon as you make any edits to your ship model, these will change. They will get muddled around again. But it's looking okay. Maneuverability, it feels okay. Hyperdrive is getting up there a bit. Yeah, but the stats are feeling okay. Let's see if the maneuverability changed a little bit with the thing before I log off, with the upgrade. It doesn't feel a lot different. Feels like a better hauler. It doesn't feel like a fighter or anything. You wouldn't expect it to. Well, I've got nothing against doing the analysis. It's just that it's going to take a while. I'll have a look. I'll have a look while I'm on the stream, but I don't think I'm going to be able to stream the details because it's going to take a while to set up. So if I just look for it, it should be in metadata reality tables. What did I say it was called? Spaceship Globals. Maybe it's not in this folder. Maybe it's in simulation. No, it's definitely not in that folder. So this is where it could be a little bit boring because it's just me looking at a table, looking for a file that I'm not that familiar with where everything is. Simulation. Oh, there's a ship basis section that might be worth having a little look at. That's new. Nothing there. Player, perhaps? Nope. Would have thought it'd be reality. Thing is, they might even change the names as well. They do sometimes change these things. Not very often, though, because it messes up mods if they do that. And they've obviously taken great pains to not mess up mods with the newer system. But this is not my speciality. I usually take a while to find things. Materials, metadata, models, scene. It's got to be in metadata. Open user interface. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. Game state. Nope. If anybody ends up watching this back that knows the files off by heart, they'll just be screaming at me, saying, no, not there, there. Yeah, I think they're going to have to wait Gravnort because I just don't remember where they are. I've obviously fished them out before because I've got them. I've got a copy of them from earlier, so I can do a comparison, see what's changed. But what I haven't got is a note of the location. Yep, never mind. I'll look that up at my own time, in my own leisure. Could quickly check the Whispering Eggs. I don't hold out a lot of hope. It would have been easier to go to the abandoned system. I'm not still in the abandoned system, am I? No, it's quicker to land at the space station now than it is to go to your freighter, which is frustrating. Just because of the position of that stupid teleporter. I hope they're going to integrate that somewhere into the bridge. It would make a lot more sense on the bridge. Maybe change one of the teleport downs and make it clear with a marker that this one's to your carrier and this one's to your Corvette. Be a good solution. Right, so abandoned. back at the same abandon. I'm going to try and open that box again. No. You know what? I'm going to use this ship anyway, rather than run down there to find out. Did I keep my chart? I think I put the charts in my other ship. That's annoying. I've only got that chart and some artifact charts. So I'm going to have to land on land. Which is always fun in a storm. Does that land there?
Storm clearing.
Right, so that should do it, shouldn't it? I presume factories are abandoned, Gravnort. You would know, you play abandoned mode more than I do. I haven't played it yet, so infinitely more than I do. What they have done in this build is that you always get a beam aboard thing, even if you jump out. Whereas before, when you jumped out, it didn't put one there. So you then had to call your ship in, which was always frustrating. Yeah. Where's the marker gone? Oh, there it is. No access, and I can't shoot them either. I think they've tried to stop them falling into the terrain, and they've made them unselectable. This is one I haven't reported, to be honest. But I presume it's something that other people will have reported, because I first heard about it on Reddit, so... Yeah, that kind of puts a That's kind of Scupper's abandoned mode, isn't it? Because that's one of your main resources in abandoned mode. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Pharaoh. Travel well and goodbye for now. Cheerio.